Good afternoon. This is your boy, emotional coach, Brad Rett, and I'm coming at you this afternoon to give you another emotional mastery nugget. Today we're going to talk about the emotion of crying. Crying is something that we all have placed in us naturally. We come to the earth with it. And so as simplistic as the cry is, it serves a very, 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 very emotional importance. And so as a scholar of mental health, psychology, and therapy, I did a little research. So I found a scholarly journal that I was reading. It was written by Judith Nelson. She's a clinical social worker, and she touched on the origins of crying and how it has been used from the beginning of time. And she said that crying is an inborn attachment behavior, which according to an attachment theorist, John Bowlby and Margaret Ainsworth, is primarily an appeal for the protective presence of a parent. Infant crying triggers corresponding caretaking behavior in the parents. So this is amazing to me, because when you come to this earth, you already knew how to cry. You already knew how to communicate. Crying was the first form of communication between the child and the parent. That is amazing to me. So we all understand, us, we parents, we began to understand through the time of spending time with the infant from the time that they're born. There's a hungry cry, there's an angry cry, there's an irritated cry, there's a sleepy cry. Because the child can't talk, but the different cries trigger a response in the parent, and it causes the parent to come to the child's aid. And once it comes to the child's aid, the child now is comforted, and the parent begins to focus in on taking care of the needs of the child. So I really think this is an amazing emotion. A lot of people don't think that, he just crying. But this is an amazing emotion. Now, the major part about this is it didn't stop there. So according to the article, it said crying continues throughout life to be a reaction to separation and loss, to carry an attachment message, and to trigger a caretaking response. So even as adults, we cry. Things happen. We lose things. We lose people. We get into situations that make us sad. We get into situations that, we become angry and depressed. Some people cry when they get angry, But the response for the emotion of crying, which date back to the beginning of time, is amazing to me, because we all have to be careful, because you can't cry all the time, because life is going on while you're crying. So there is a certain time frame that you have to be able to cry, and then there's a certain time frame when you have to recover and get back into life. So one of the things that you have to be careful from is becoming emotionally detached. Now, we know when you cry, you're attached emotionally, but you have others who don't cry. These are things that were learned. These are things that were kind of taught to me growing up as a little boy. Oh, little boys don't cry. You're not tough. You're weak if you cry. So therefore, there was something instilled in us to where we would avoid crying. We would detach ourselves from how we feel and our feelings, and we would go to another place and we would function normally without checking that particular emotion. Now, when this happens, you grow up as an adult who most people may label, oh, he's insensitive, he's unempathetic, he's unsympathetic, he doesn't care about anybody's feelings. But this is something that came from learning detachment. Now, detachment is a very good thing, but it can be a negative thing. Most people, and I found this out also in another journal. This was in Psychology Today, that a person who's detached, emotionally detached, or experiencing or displaying emotional detachment, they have difficulty empathizing with others, not easily sharing emotions. So they kind of hide. You know, some people don't feel comfortable expressing themselves around others. So they kind of sit in this monotone state to where they're pretty much straight up and down. And they wait until they're alone in order to release those particular emotions. So that, you know, they also have difficulty sometimes, this is not all the time, committing in relationships, because you have to become attached, not detached. You have to become attached emotionally to someone so that you can empathize with them, so that you can talk with them, so that you can express feelings and empathize and bond with this particular person. So it'll be very difficult for you to bond if you can't share your emotions back and forth in a reciprocal manner. So this was an amazing find. Of course, you know, I'm a scholar. I got to do my homework. I don't just sit here and talk. You know, I get my information from reliable sources, and I'm actually in this thing. I work in this field. I've been in the field of mental health and psychology since 2001. And so here it is, 2023. I'm just trying to basically share some nuggets with people so that they can get their emotions in check and they can live successful, healthy, and comfortable and fun-loving lives. This was your boy, emotional coach Brad Rett, coming at you, talking to you about emotional mastery. We talked about crying. There's nothing wrong with crying. Crying can be a good thing, but there comes a time where you have to get back to life. You have to begin to learn how to slowly, but in a healthy manner, detach yourself away from those feelings that pull you in, that distract you from maybe your job, distract you from other relationships, distract you most importantly from opportunities. You know, there's some opportunities out there that come upon you, and they don't know that, you know, you're grieving from a loved one, and you may miss out on this particular opportunity because you continued on grieving and wasn't able to kind of leave it there for a second. I'm not saying forget it, but leave it there for a second so that you can handle your business and then come back and get in touch with those emotions, because I am a practicer and believer that you have to check those emotions and deal with them. You can't avoid them. Allow them to come, accept them, internalize them, allow them to run their course. Do not hold on to them. Allow them to run their course and fade on out. You all have a wonderful day on this magnificent Monday. I'm glad I was able to give you this emotional nugget for today. You all have a magnificent day.